there's a scenario here that, and I use infinite banking. I'll say that first, but there's a scenario here. It kind of reminds me. My wife and I also have a real estate team, and she's a full-time real estate broker. And if you ever go to any real estate agent, you say, "Hey, do you deal with investment properties?" They're all going to say, "Oh yeah, absolutely, all the time." And then oftentimes behind the scenes, they're going to another agent and be like, "Hey, can you help me with this? I don't know what I'm doing over here. This is not what I do." If you go to any life insurance agent and you start talking about infinite banking and you ask about it, like, "Oh yeah, we can do that. We can structure it this way. We can structure it that way." What I have learned is that this is one of those things that you either do it or you don't do it. You don't really dabble, because the way that you set this up has to be very
Mhm.
specific. You want to do it in a way that the right commissions are stripped out, that you're putting riders in place, that yes, there's a death benefit, but you have a lot of different structures and riders that you can put in place for long-term health benefits or different things, or access to capital, the different loan structure. That if people say that they can take a life insurance policy and tweak it to kind of make it work in this, and it's more of like a Frankenstein policy, that's not what you want. What you want is somebody that specializes in this type of product, that is very well structured the right way from top to bottom, with very specific companies that offer the right type of product that you can use for that. Or you shouldn't do it. And it's one of those things that you don't dabble in this. You either do it or you don't do it. It took me several years of looking at it and reviewing it before I decided it was something that I wanted to incorporate. Exactly for what you said, Chris. It's not an all-in strategy. It's just an extra bucket. It's a bucket that you can place over here that,
Yeah.
yes, it has a death benefit. Yes, it protects your family, but it's also capital that you have access to earlier, that you can build up tax-free or deferred depending on the situation. But it's one of those things that it's a veteran move. This is a veteran move. And if you're going to do it, you need to do it with a veteran that can give you the guidance and walk you through, because my imagination is
That's
getting the
right.
best of me here, but I have a feeling there's a lot of people that do it the wrong way. And I'm sure you probably have examples of that or have seen that a lot. How often are you fixing things when people started out with a misstep?
All the time. Yeah. I mean, even in infinite banking, that's the problem, is that there's a lot of people teaching infinite banking, even in the real estate space, and they're easily charging double the fees you should be paying. You know, in fact, just yesterday, there's a guy, and again, most of these guys are all good people. I'm even friends with a lot of them. But just yesterday, one of the guys that's heavy in the real estate space reached out to me personally and said, "Listen, like, I've got a client who's nickel and diming over these costs and fees, and I know you work with a specific company that I'm not that familiar with. Can you run numbers for me with that company?" And so I did, and
Mm.
it came back. He's like, "How are you getting numbers like this?" Now, understand, this guy is working with a lot of centers of influence in the real estate space. And he doesn't think it was possible that you can get as good of numbers as I was getting. He's like, "How are you getting these numbers? There's got to be something you're doing wrong." I'm like, "I'm not." It's just, I've spent the last 20 years perfecting this to the point, and I just don't because I'm already financially independent, I don't give a crap about the commissions, which unfortunately most infinite bankers, quote unquote, or any insurance salesman for that matter, they do rely on those commissions. And so they're not, even if they do the less than 1% and even know how to do this, even that 1% often won't do it because they don't want to cut their commissions back that much. And so that's the hard part, is like, I get so many people are like, "Oh, I've already got an infinite banking policy." They're like, "Hey, would you review it, Chris, to see what it's like?" I'm like, "Sure." I was like, "It might be good. It might not be." And I'll tell you, over 99% of the time, it's like, almost pretty much 100% of the time, I'll say, "This could have been done better." Now, does that mean we change things? Maybe not, because maybe you're already deep into it and it doesn't matter at this point. But every time, I mean, every single time, that's one thing I keep running into, is that I've never once seen somebody who beat our numbers legitimately, and how we do it. And that's not to brag. That's just to let you know that, you know, just because somebody's on social media and talking it up and sounds like they know what they're doing, doesn't mean that they are doing it. Either they know what they're doing, or they're even giving you the best, like, lowest cost possible, so you can maximize your ROI. And that's why we even trademarked the phrase Max ROI Infinite Banking, because there's just too many infinite banking people out there that are kind of screwing people over a little bit.